his Crystalis runs. He runs Crystalis for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and he has the second fastest time. Zogman runs a variety of games, but most notably, he does run the vanilla game, and he has a pretty solid time in that. He also runs Castlevania for NES, and he also runs Chip and Dale for the NES. And it looks like we have a medium secret right away at 32 rupees. I'm Riker Rider, and I will be your guide through tonight's seed. And I also have my co-commentator, Sharky2107, who is also doing tracking for this race. So everybody give a nice warm welcome to Sharky2107. And it looks like we already have a Triforce in level 6 from Zogman.
Yes, and it looks like it was in the Ruby boss rooms as well, so...
So what these two are going to be looking for early on in the seed is some kind of weapon. Now, typically it will be a wood sword, but it can be a red candle. It can be a premium weapon as well, such as a wand or a white sword. Matrick finding level 4, but deciding he wants nothing to do with it. And Zogman going over to the Dead Woods, which is a very interesting play because he does not have a candle right now. And the door repair message is very short, so it will be difficult but not impossible to up A out of it. So if these runners want to save their rupees, they will need to... they'll need to be very quick to up A out of that. Zogman already showing his prowess from his running of the vanilla game by doing the Lost Woods screen scroll pretty quickly. Matrick also finding level 6.
As you can see, both runners are taking 2 complete routes here, so... And Small Secret being 17 rubies by Zugman, up where Vanilla 6 is.
So money so far looking to be fairly generous based on the medium and small secrets. And Matrick taking a death to the blue Gorillas on the overworld. Gorillas can be very dangerous on the overworld. Zogman finding the Take Any Roads on Death Mountain in the graveyard area. So we will see where these wind up. There is one by the Dead Woods, which is nice. That is relatively close to start. A Matrick doing a HUD scroll. Very nicely done. And the Take Any Roads, not terribly useful. There's one in the Dead Woods, but the rest of them are concentrated in the graveyard. Zogman deciding he's had enough of Death Mountain and just wants to scroll off. Interesting so far that we have not seen any hint caves, and we haven't seen that many dungeons either. And it looks like the Armos item is going to be up in the upper right corner, so it will be interesting to see when they go up there. It looks like Matrick is headed in that direction, but he's going to have to deal with these blue Gorillas that are surrounding Vanilla Level 2. This can be a very dangerous screen, does manage to deal with it.
Zuckerman now going into level 4, ups A to get his health back, and finds a staircase with a lot of pole voices, which is leading him to another part of the dungeon.
Because there is a staircase in level 4, we do know that level 4 is segmented. We have also discovered that Dig Dogger is by a lake. Yes, we do have a segmented 4. And Matrick, running into a little bit of difficulty in the top right corner, decides to take an up A instead of taking a death, and I don't blame him for being on half a heart. And Matrick finding a wood sword. It looks like the wood sword was in the open cave to the south and east of the fairy fountain. And we have a wand as the white sword item. That is huge for Matrick. So with that wand, Matrick is going to be able to tear apart these dungeons. Should not be concerned about these bunnies at all. A bow is always nice to take care of them, but when you have a wand, it doesn't take that many hits, especially if you can wand sword. And I imagine both of these runners, having done, in Zogman's case, as much vanilla as he's played, and in terms of the number of races Matrick has done, that they should both be familiar with some of the glitches in this game, such as how to do a wand sword. We've already seen some HUD scrolls from Matrick, so I expect to see plenty of other advanced techniques from both of these runners. Nice bomb drops from those Vyres. Meanwhile, Zogman is about to discover his wand, and he is going to be very pleased with his offensive power doubling. It does look like Zogman is going to try to take care of these gorillas before screen scrolling over to the other side. And we have a red candle in 4. Matrick is going to take this because I believe this is his first candle. And then Matrick immediately getting the Triforce in level 4. Zogman finding a level 2 as well.
Yeah, level 2 is where they basically started at, which is one north of Vanilla Start, I believe.
Matrick back in 6. It looks like now that he has a wand, he is going to start to make progress in the seed. And chat pointing out that we have a 123 rupee large secret, so we may see a blue ring purchase from these runners. And Matrick with his Triforce in level 6, so he now has 2 Triforces. And very interesting, Matrick is redigging level 6. This is not a dungeon you typically want to dig early with the random dungeon shapes, because out of the first 6 dungeons, level 6 is going to be the largest dungeon. That's a pretty nasty shape for level 6. I'm actually very surprised that Matrick is digging out this dungeon.
And looking at 6, it is segmented 6 as well, so... And you did find a staircase a few rooms back, so yeah.
Now, meanwhile, Zogman continuing his exploration of level 2. But he does need to be careful, he's down to half a heart. And finds the map in level 2, and that is not a small dungeon for level 2, so chat, name that ink plot. And now Zogman with the compass all the way in the back of level 2 knows where the Triforce is. And Matrick finding a bomb upgrade in level 6 is the standard 4 bombs for, I believe, what was 106 rupees.
And on the other hand, Zogman just found a Leave Your Life or Money room, which consists of bombs or keys, and he chooses to give up a bomb.
Zogman, very interesting. Choosing to not up A out of that room, considering where the Triforce is, and the fact that it was between 4 keys and a bomb capacity, which is usually one of the worst choices you have to make in a life or money room. So it looks like Zogman may just be getting the Triforce out of level 2 and getting out of dodge. Matrix still searching level 6. He must be convinced that there's an important item in here. And now Zogman will even up this game at 2 Triforces apiece after getting the Triforce out of level 2. Matrix finding the power bracelet in level 6, so if this is required, that could be huge for him.
And after he grabs the power bracelet, he decides to get out and leave because he's done with this dungeon. So yeah,
he already has the Triforce. Of course, he's leaving. So now, with both of our runners having finished one of the dungeons, we can now get back to our regularly scheduled excavation of Hyrule, and we have a level 3 in the Lost Hills, or not the Lost Hills, the Dead Woods. I apologize about that.
And we got some RZA robes in this room. At least they're the red variety.
That Triforce buried in this dungeon. But level 3 is one of those dungeons that's not too large typically, so you will see the runners typically dig this item out. And we are still missing a lot of things, and oh shoot. Matrix finding the horizontal shoot room in level 3, and Zogman has discovered what appears to be a segmented level 8 based on the immediate staircase. Matrix has found the map in level 3, so name that ink blot.
And early on, there's the Triforce in 8.
So Zogman will be picking up the Triforce in 8, but the question is, oh, it doesn't look like he's going to take it. It looks like he's interested in digging out an item. I agree with this play. If you find an early Triforce in level 8, it's usually worth your time to dig out the first item. And Matrix taking a death to the Gliok, and it looks like we have simultaneous deaths from both Zogman and Matrix. These dungeons tearing our runners apart. So because the Triforce is so early on, if you're set on digging items, you may actually want to consider getting the Triforce, but it looks like a Zogman may be interested in just digging one or both of the items out first. Nice reverse block clip to find the inferior model.
And he declines to go get it, so...
Why would you pick up the inferior model? And Zogman taking a bop from the blue Dark Nuts. Wow, this is a nasty looking room that Matrix is in. It looks like he's trying to block clip around 8 blue Wizrobes. These are some nasty dungeons that are being thrown at both of our runners. Did Zogman get the Triforce in level 8? I don't think he did. I think he just walked out without it. That's very interesting.
He did walk out. And he buys a blue candle, which is 2 above average, I believe.
I believe so. We have a raft on the coast. It looks like Matrix is taking advantage of his bomb upgrade to try to bomb out some of these blue Wizrobes in this room. This is an incredibly tough room. And it looks like this room is required to get the Triforce. And possibly the item as well. Zogman finding hints will pick up the 16 rupee hint. And he will discover that the red candle is in level 4. which is something that Matrick knew already. So no new information, unfortunately, from the Hint Cave. I think if you're Matrick, you would consider... And we have a red ring guarded by 8 blue Wizrobes in level 3. What a find for Matrick. That is an incredibly well-guarded item.
And that basically gives him way better defense. 4 times defensive now for him.
Yes, he will be taking 75% less damage from enemies, and it'll be interesting to see if or when Zogman comes back for that red ring, because due to the difficulty of the enemies there, he may not even go into that room if he can get the Triforce, but it looks like he will need to go into that room because that you are required to go through that room to get the Triforce as it is. So depending on his comfort with the block clip and being able to deal with those blue Wizrobes, we may not see him pick up the red ring.
And now Magic just found level 7.
Oh, hi, level 9. We have level 9 sighting at Candle Row.
And it looks like level 7. Well, he's walked in and walked out back in and found a bomb hole. See where it leads to.
And Matrick has also discovered level 5, so I actually think... Have we found all the levels? No, we have not. I think we're still missing... We're still missing 1. We're still missing level 1, but that's it. We found all the levels other than level 1. Oof. That is a nasty room that Zogman just died in. There are Wizrobes and Lynels in that room, and it looks like Zogman is just going to nope right on out of there, and I do not blame him one bit. That is a nasty, nasty room. As nice as it is to have that wand is not going to help you against Wizrobes. So the big question is, where is this ladder? Because we have not found very many items yet, and another thing that is of note is we have not discovered where the white sword item is yet. Although we have discovered that the white sword item now is a heart container, so it looks like the runners may have a very difficult time finding this ladder, what with the nasty, nasty dungeon enemies we have in this seed. So far, we have discovered about half the items, and none of them have been any of the items that are potentially required other than the power bracelet. So the bow, silver arrows, and ladder are still out there. But we are seeing a lot of prowess from both of these runners getting deep into these difficult dungeons with the little health and little defense that they have. Matrick finding a staircase in level 7, and it is a transport staircase. Zogman going to check Vanilla 2, and he is greeted with a secret for 32 rupees. And Matrick has found the map for a very flat level 7, so name that ink blot, guys. He has also located the Triforce in level 7, but he appears to be... his attention appears to be to digging out the item in this dungeon, and I do not blame him, because he has been through quite a bit of the dungeon at this point, so you would probably feel committed when there's only a few rooms left. And Zogman finding a bonus cave, taking a very much needed heart container. So Matrick just must think he needs this item. Matrick finding the second bomb upgrade, a few rupees short. He does find a staircase, which is probably the item room, and he finds the recorder. So we have a recorder in level 7.
Right now, we don't know if the recorder is going to be required or not.
So we will have Matrick picking up his 4th Triforce shortly, and he will have a 2 Triforce lead. This ladder is still missing in action. But now that we're about 26 minutes into the seed, I can do an item recap for everyone who has just joined. We do not know either of the items in level 1 or 2. We know the item in level 3 is the red ring. The item in level 4 is the red candle. Level 5, we do not know the item. Level 6 had the power bracelet. Level 7 had the recorder. One of the items in level 8 is the inferior model. We do not know the other one. We do not know either of the items in level 9. The Armos item was the wand. The white sword item is the heart container. The Ladder Coast item is the raft. And Matrick has discovered level 1 at Recorder Lake.
So picking that recorder was a good move on him. Because now we know it is required.
And especially for finding level 1, because level 1 has 2 items in it, and we're really running out of places to where this bow and this ladder can be. And chat pointing out that level 2 had Lord Banana, and Zogman did pass on picking that up. With once you have a wand, the boomerang is not terribly useful.
And that spawn of the Triforce blocking the doorway on him, so I guess he's going to try to go around.
It's not quite a Y force, but it's pretty close. It's almost a Y force. So with all 9 dungeons in the south half of the map, the runners will not need to go to Death Mountain. And the floor item in level 1 is the book, and Matrick says no. And the other item in level 1 is...
the bow.
The bow. Fred! What's that doing there? So we know that by process of elimination, this will be a hunt for silver arrows in the... Oh, no, we don't know that yet, because the raft is on the coast. But it's pretty likely that we have a silver arrow in level 9 at this point. Because what are we missing? We're missing ladder. We're missing silver arrows. And we're missing... the any key. So any key, ladder, and silver arrows are still out there. And then there's one other item we're missing as well. The heart container is the white sword item. And yes, the other item we're missing is the white sword. So actually, all of the items left are good. We found all the junk items. Now, normally at this point, if you have a wand, some players would consider the white sword a junk item, but I don't think you can consider it a junk item given the quantity of wizrobes that we've had in dungeons.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the wand and the white sword does the same amount of damage, correct?
That's correct. And if you have both of them, being able to use wand sword is the most efficient way to kill Patra unless you have mags. And given the heart quantities that we have so far in this seed, I don't think we'll be seeing a magical sword from either of these runners. Matrick right now exploring Death Mountain. He doesn't know that there aren't any items up here, but he is going to explore anyway. His best case scenario is finding the white sword item up here, which is a mirror heart container. And at this point, he may even pass on the heart container because he has a red ring and he has 6 hearts, which, depending on his comfort level with level 9, may be enough. And Zogman finding his red candle in level 4, and he says no.
So now he's going to go back, I believe, pick up the Triforce.
We'll actually need to see how many Triforces Zogman has the next time he pulls up his menu. So it'll be interesting to see if Matrick chooses to take the heart container if he finds it up here, but other than that, there really isn't anything up here. Well, there is a letter. That'll be that's an interesting spot for the letter given what we've had in the seed. So depending on Zogman's comfort level with level 9, we may see him go up to Death Mountain to search for a letter, but given that he is a vanilla runner, I expect that the letter is just something nice to him, that he does not need it to complete the game. And Zogman is in a level 3 right now. So if he can pull off that difficult block clip in that Wizrobe room, he will find the red ring. And considering that he's still looking for both silver arrows and ladder, he will probably do everything that he can to get into that staircase. And while it is an item that is not required, he will be pleasantly surprised at what he finds. So depending on if Zogman can quickly get this red ring out of level 3 and the Triforce, having a lot of trouble with this Manhandla. Manhandlas are very dangerous enemies. They're some of the most random enemies in the game. Just barely taking care of it and finding level 3's map. And he is going to up A back to the beginning. So it'll be Matrick's turn to, or not Matrick, it'll be Zogman's turn to go into this room with the Wizrobes, and it looks like he is trying to get a little bit of health off of the Zols. No help at all. And he's down to a heart and a half, so if he takes a bop from one of those Wizrobes or a Wizrobe Beam, he will be going back to the start of this dungeon. And instead takes a sword to the face from the Lionels. Very nice force from Matrick there. And this level 3 just tearing both of our runners apart. These are some of the nastier dungeons I've seen so far in the tournament.
I do agree with that. Level 3 is a pain tonight.
Then again, I did deal this seed, and every single seed I deal has one dungeon that is just a nightmare. And we do have Matrick buying bait. It is interesting that we have not seen the Hungry Gorilla yet, so it could be possible that the Hungry Gorilla is in level 9. Matrick finding himself in 2. And this is a double block room, so Zogman is going to try to clear this out, which, from his perspective, is a much better option than trying to block clip into that room with 8 Wizrobes. Although he might not... I don't think he's seen that room yet, so he doesn't know about that room, but he will be pretty disgusted when he finds out that the item in this dungeon is being blocked by an obscene number of blue Wizrobes. Matrick finding the heart container in 2, so he is up to 8 hearts. He should be pretty comfortable with that heart total, especially with a red ring. And if he needs to, he can buy a potion before he goes into level 9 as well, because I believe he found the letter. And Zogman finding that the item room in level 3 is guarded by...
the 8 blue Wizrobes.
8 blue Wizrobes, just a complete mess in that room. So his best strategy for clearing this room is to try to just hide in the doorway and bomb out as many of those Wizrobes as possible. But he needs to be careful with that because he's down to 1 heart. So if he takes 1 bop, it looks like he is just going to pass on the item and go. No, he might try to clip in from the top. Given how chaotic that room is, he may be reloading this room because his best option may be to try to clip in on the very first try possible.
And he gets sniped by one of the blue Wizrobes there.
And meanwhile, Matrick getting his Triforce out of level 2, he is headed back in to find the item, which we know is Lord Banana. And looks like Zogman is leaving level 3. He has had enough of that room. And he finds that level 7... at least going that way is ladder blocked. But there is a way around that because we know that Matrick was able to get both the Triforce and the Recorder out of this dungeon. But really the 64,000 rupee question at this point in the seed is, where is the blanking ladder? We know it's got to be in 5 or 8. And level 8 is in a very isolated portion of the map, so it may be a while before both of these runners get back to level 8.
If they have to go back into a dungeon to redig, they'd probably rather redig 5 first before they go to 8 and dig. And, and Magic just found out by spinning a bomb, it led him to Lord Banana. And he turns around and leaves.
So if you're Matrick, where do you go? I believe Matrick already has the inferior model out of level 8, so I believe if you're Matrick, you go to 5. And Zogman taking another death in level 7. We've seen a lot of deaths from both of these runners. I hear a lot of people try to say that the randomizer generally makes the game easier than vanilla, but Zelda 1 is not an easy game to begin with, and when you get dungeons like these, the game can be much more difficult than the vanilla game.
Yeah, that is true, because sometimes you get received where you get rooms that are really hard.
And
not much room to move.
Matrick picking up some... Matrick is picking up some red potion, and it looks like there is a 10 rupee discount for buying in bulk in this seed. Zogman picking up the heart container in level 7, so that will bring him up to 7 hearts. Matrick has now found level 9. So I believe he has found all of the levels at this point. There may be one he's missing, but I believe he's seen all of them. Oh, now he's seen all of them.
Now he finds 5, and time to go in.
I believe Zogman found level 5 fairly early on and decided to leave because of some of the enemies. And I do not blame him, because there are very nasty rooms in here with these blue Lionels, these blue Wizrobes. These are some just ugly, ugly seeds. And Matrick has found that there is a bow in level 1, which he knows. And Matrick is leaving level 5. So this ladder is proving to be very elusive. The runners have to start feeling they may be under significant time pressure, because it's been almost 45 minutes in the seed, and neither one of them has found the ladder. Matrick picking up his 9th heart, so one more heart, and he will have an outside chance of picking up Mags. And Matrick going back into the shop and changing his mind and deciding that picking up wood arrows is a good idea. He will not be able to use them right away because he has no money. But I am a big fan of picking up wood arrows with this particular flag set because there tend to be a lot more pulse voices in dungeons. Once the enemies have been shuffled out of dungeons, it tends to leave a lot more pulse voices in dungeons than in earlier versions of the randomizer.
Now we got Sigmund going back into 3 and probably dig out the red ring, which he probably doesn't know it's there right now.
I hope for his sake he's able to get this red ring, because this has been a very elusive item for him, and it's going to be quite difficult to get in there, even with his heart count. He will have a couple more tries, because he can take hits. This time, nice block clip to get into that room, and he finds the red ring. I'm sure that's a sight for sore eyes for him. And Matrick is in level 8, and we know there's a 50% chance that the ladder is in here, which is another item that's been eluding both of our runners. Zogman is also having a couple of key issues. He did pick up a key, but he is down to 2 keys right now. He was at 1, up to 2 now. And we did find level 8, and the map of level 8 as well, so name that ink blot, guys. Matrick finding an item in level 8, and he picks up he does not pick it up, but he sees the inferior model. So it'll be interesting to see if he commits to this dungeon and tries to dig out this item, or he goes back to level 5.
Yeah, for level 8, I think probably it looks like some kind of bird, in a way.
But Matrick having no key issues whatsoever in this seed. He's up to 7 keys. 8 keys now. And Zogman digging up Death Mountain, he's not going to find anything up here except a letter, which depending on how comfortable he is, but he should be comfortable because he runs vanilla, so he may even turn down the letter. No, Zogman will pick up the letter, and with all this money, he will be able to buy some potions as well. And Matrick finding information that the book is recorder blocked, but he has already found that item. That is not a very nice place to put that hint. Zogman picking up a heart container from a bonus cave, so he will be at 8 hearts.
And we know, since level 1 was quarter blocked, and that I believe was the floor item in level 1.
Matrick finding a double block room and getting a nice clock for this room as well. And down the staircase we go, and it is a transport staircase. Matrick says no. Matrick finding another double block room.
And there's nothing in that one.
But overall, this has definitely been a very uncooperative seed. Matrick finding the heart container in level 8, so he now has 10 hearts. That will give him a 20% chance at picking up the magical sword.
And picking up the mags is between 10 and 14 hearts to get the sword from it.
And now Zogman in this very nasty NSU room in level 5. I believe this is his second time trying to tackle this NSU room. He may actually reload the room to see whether Wizrobes are on priority in the seed. Or he is taking an up A to go look elsewhere in the dungeon. This is one of those cases where you may need to consider looking for a magic bomb wall, but unfortunately Zogman will need to leave this dungeon because he is out of bombs.
And he did give himself a good hint, knowing now the bow is in Dungeon 1.
And it looks like he did get a drop, so he will bomb around this NSU room, but with only 3 hearts, even with that red ring, those hearts go away very quickly, especially if you take a red Wizrobe beam to the face, because even with a red ring, those do a full heart of damage. Zogman leaving the Triforce where it is, he thinks he needs this item. And we have a bait block in level 5. Well, a possible bait block. There may be a way around it, but the Hungry Gria is in level 5. Zogman taking this Triforce, he might go out and buy bait.
And that'd be his, I believe, his 5th Triforce so far.
Yes, but Matrick having 6 Triforces, and he has done a significant amount of dungeon exploration over Zogman as well. So this search for the second item in level 8 is eating into Matrick's lead, but if this winds up being the ladder, then this could be big for him. Have we seen any ladder blocks in any of these dungeons? I don't think we have. It's entirely possible that this could be a ladderless seed. Zogman buying some hints, finds out that Manhandla has the red ring in level 3. All a bunch of information that he knows.
That Rav is not required, and Recorder
all
is required
old
to get the
news.
bow. Which is
all old news. That's 158 rupees down the drain for Zogman. Very unfortunate. Matrick still has not picked up this Triforce in level 8. He's passed by it several times, but it looks like he is committing himself to digging out this item, which if it is the ladder and it is required, is very big for him. He is also missing silver arrows at this point, which could be in this dungeon. It's a 1 in 4 chance to be in this dungeon. So if something required winds up being here, then that will be big for Matrick. But if the other item in level 8 is the Any key, then that will actually be a big setback for him, and he may even turn the Any key down, especially considering that he has 10 keys already. Chat is pointing out that the play the melody to obtain the bow hint is not entirely useless because it does confirm the location of level 1 for him, and Matrick finding the white sword in level 8. I don't know if he's happy or unhappy to see that, but in his kind of position, knowing what we know, that's probably the least valuable item you could find. So this confirms the rest of the item locations. So, unfortunately, Matrick's striking out with level 8, but now that we know all of the item locations by process of elimination, I will go over where all the items are, since we do know where all of them are. Level 1 had the book and the bow. Level 2 had Lord Banana. Level 3 had the red ring. Level 4 had the red candle. Level 5 has the ladder. Level 6 has the power bracelet. Level 7 has the recorder. Level 8 had the inferior model and the white sword. We know by process of elimination that the items in level 9 are Any key and silver arrows. The Armos item was the wand. The white sword item was the heart container. And the ladder coast item is the raft, which we know is not required. And Matrick taking his Triforce out of level 8, cutting his losses, and moving on.
Now, he's probably going to go back to 5 and go dig out the ladder and get the last Triforce.
I think he knows that the ladder is there too, because I believe he's found every other item. And this is one of those seeds that, based on where that ladder was, that it could very easily just turn out to be one of those 100% seeds, because that NSU room in a level 5 with those Wizrobes and Lynels is very, very nasty. It's one of those rooms that you really want to have a ladder for. So it would definitely scare away a lot of people from trying to look for items, and it's just unfortunate that the ladder happens to be there. Matrick getting his 11th heart, so now he has a 40% chance to obtain the magical sword. But I don't believe either of these runners have found either the magical sword or the magical sword hint. But Matrick is exploring caves still. He may be looking for the magical sword, just because there have been some extremely nasty rooms in level 5. And depending on what enemy set we have in level 9 could be equally nasty, having blue Wizrobes, blue Lynels, all kinds of really, really ugly enemies. And it looks like chat is correcting me once again that the magical sword was found pretty early on. So if he knows where the magical sword is, I'm actually kind of curious what Matrick is doing right now. Zogman finding his white sword, he'll be pretty happy to see that, but it's still not what he's looking for. We know that he is going to need to find this ladder, and it's in a location that he does not want to search. But I'm really not quite sure what Matrick is looking for.
I don't remember if he found the location of the right sword, the mags, or he's hunting it down right now.
That's actually something that I might need to discuss with Matrick in post-race commentary after he was finished with 8, why he kept digging Overworld. Oh, Matrick cannot pick up the magical sword at 11. So he, at this point, would be heading... Oh, he's still checking caves. He may have mismarked the he may have mismarked his map. He may have mismarked 5. And just speaking from experience, both in previous matches, in regular just solo seeds, and even in this tournament, just take it from my experience. It's very, very important to take good notes.
I do agree with that, because I've had situations where I've actually missed a thing on my map and didn't check it right.
If you mismark a dungeon, it can take 20-30 minutes to locate it again. I think I know what he might be looking for. If he hasn't mismarked 5, there's one other thing he could be looking for. He may not have marked down where to get bait, because he may think that bait is required for level 5.
That is a good point, because 5 did have a bait at kind of early on, I believe.
I knew one of the 2 runners bought bait. I'm just not sure which one it was. But it looks like Zogman was able to get around the bait block. Matrick picking up his 12th heart container, so he might make another play on mags. He might just be trying to get mags before going into level 9, just because of how nasty some of the enemies have been.
And right now, he does have a 60% chance of picking up mags.
Actually, he has a 33% chance of picking up the magical sword, because we were unable to pick up. He knows he is unable to pick up the magical sword at 11, so it's actually a 1 in 3 chance, not a 60% chance.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, because I forgot to count that he did attempt it once.
So it looks like Matrick is back in 5. Both of these players looking for the item, and Zogman finds the ladder in level 5. Very, very deep in the dungeon. That will be very difficult for Matrick to get to. So that red ring proving to be invaluable for this level 5, and Matrick is leaving? Oh, he's out of bombs. He needs bombs.
And he does get a bomb drop from the enemy, so he's going to go back in.
Matrick has gotten a lot of very fortunate bomb drops. Have we even found a bomb shop yet? So all of a sudden, this race has gotten very, very close. But Matrick will feed the Hungry Gorilla the bait and find that there was indeed a way around that room. Zogman finding himself back in 7, he needs to find this recorder to get into a level 1. So looking around for this ladder and his excursion into trying to get mags has cut into his lead. It could be relatively even going into a level 9, depending on how long it takes Matrick to find this ladder, but if Zogman wants to get back into this race, he's going to need to hurry. Matrick picking up his 13th heart container, so now he has a 2 in 3 chance to get the magical sword. Zogman picking up his recorder, so he will now be able to get into level 1.
And now Sigmund does buy the bomb upgrade. So now he has a few more bombs.
And Zogman getting the Triforce in level 7, and Matrick finding the stairs. But Matrick has shown that he is plenty good with the white sword, especially with his 13 hearts. And his red ring, and I believe he also has a potion, so there would be no reason for him to go get the magical sword. And it would be a big commitment to go get it. Even with a 2 in 3 chance, it's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8 screen transitions to get to the magical sword if he whistles to 8, and you count the screen transition from the whistle. So it's a very long trip to actually get to the magical sword, even if you whistle to 8.
And knowing Dungeon 5 is basically next door to Dungeon 9, so you probably just take a small walk right into 9.
And Matrick has found the ladder. So it'll be very interesting to see how both of these runners approach level 9, because at this point, they know it's a trolley seed, but both of these runners know that their opponents are good, so they both have to feel that their opponent is deep into level 9 right now. And it looks like Zogman is going to continue doing level 1. He needs this bow. And Matrick is our first runner into level 9 at 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 24 seconds. And it looks like we may have a very quick Ganon. We have a Ganon in the very lower right corner of level 9. This could be a very, very quick dungeon. But you never know what could happen with level 9, because level 9 is the great equalizer of the Zelda 1 randomizer. But Matrick is not going to go into the Ganon room because he does not have silver arrows. We're going to be looking for 3 things in this level 9. The first thing we're going to be looking for, which we already found, is Ganon's Roar. So Matrick knows the exact location of Ganon, and it will be just an up A away. But he does need to find Zelda. And the way you find Zelda in level 9 is if you find a room with a single shutter that does not open after full clearing the room, that will confirm Zelda's location. You will also see these runners take every staircase they come to, because they are also looking for the silver arrows. And Zogman is in level 9. Does he have all the Triforces? Yes, he does. It looks like he had completed level 8 before, and it was just not marked on the tracker. We apologize for that. So Zogman entering level 9, about 2 minutes behind Matrick. Hold on to your seats, folks. We have a race. But it looks like we have some incredibly nasty enemies. It looks like we have Darknuts, Lionels. I've seen very nasty enemies in this level 9. With a red ring and enough hearts, the combat shouldn't be too big an issue. It's just going to be whoever finds the silver arrows first and is able to put all the pieces together for this level 9. Does this ball open? Yes, it does. So depending on whether this room opens for Matrick, this could be big for him, because if that room to the left is Zelda's room, then there could be a staircase required. But the door does open, so we do not have a trolley location. So it'll be interesting to see if Matrick tries to bomb down from these rooms. There would definitely be an argument to do that, just because that these rooms did require a staircase to get through, and it does look like he is going to check. Matrick, you can't bomb that way, you're on the far left.
And Sigmund is taking as on different route. He's on these, I believe, is it this southwest corner right now?
Yes, they're in very different portions of level 9. And it looks like none of those walls open, so it is a 3-room troll staircase in the corner of level 9. Now, Chad is asking if double dipping level 9 is required. Double dipping level 9 can be required, but the only time that you will see a runner's double dip level 9 is in the case of the runners gambling on silver arrows being in level 9, and they will not end up being there. But in this case, we know that the silver arrows are here in level 9. Matrick, unfortunately, leaving level 9, he is out of bombs, so he is going to need to farm up some bombs. And Zogman has found the map to an extremely ugly-looking level 9. He also looks like he is in that corner.
And by the looks of it, is a 53-room level 9.
In shapes, I actually prefer level 9s that are larger, that have higher quantities of rooms, because typically if you get smaller level 9s in shapes, the dungeon is much more difficult to navigate because there are a lot of voids in the dungeon, and it can lead to it can actually make the dungeon just more difficult to explore due to there being more dead ends.
And we have silver arrows.
Zogman has found the silver arrow, so now he has the advantage that he can just go back to the start of the dungeon and kill Ganon, and then all he has to do is look for a single shutter door that opens as soon as he enters the room. So with a red ring, a Hyrule driver will do 1 heart of damage. And with a white sword, Zogman will need to do 8 hits to Ganon to be able to stun him to shoot him with a silver arrow. And Zogman down to half a heart. He better use that potion. And he does use the potion. And this, folks, is the reason why level 9 is the great equalizer. Anything can happen. And it looks like Zogman does get the 8 hits, so Ganon is down. Zogman is about to. There he goes. He picks up the Triforce of Power. So all he needs to do is he needs to find Zelda's room, which will open as soon as he goes 1 room away with a shutter door, even if other enemies are in the room. So what he is going to do is he's going to try to get as much coverage as quickly as possible to try to ascertain Zelda's location. You may also see him try to clear out some easier rooms in level 9 to see if he can maybe get a chance at picking up the compass.
I do believe the runners only found 1 hit in level 9, and it was about where Ganon was. So there's 2 possible hints.
That's
3
correct.
possible hints, but 2 of them could be in here somewhere.
That's correct. Matrick with 15 keys. He did just use one, so he has 14 keys now, but he is still looking for the silver arrows. So depending on if he can make it to the silver arrows very quickly, we could have just the hide and seek for Zelda being the difference in the race.
Now Zoomman decides to open A and take a different path to find Zelda, so that's probably a good play on him.
Oh, absolutely. If you start striking out in a certain portion of level 9, you haven't gone to either the north or the left from start, that's something you may want to consider doing. And Zogman deciding that he needs to take staircases. He does have pretty good coverage on level 9, so I do not blame him for taking these staircases. You never know if a staircase could be needed to get to Ganon or Zelda in level 9. And generally getting sent to a new part of the dungeon isn't a bad thing, because it will just give you more coverage faster. Just so long as you take good mapping notes. But typically, once you've explored roughly 2/3 to 3/4 of level 9, and you're still missing one of the pieces necessary to complete it, that's when you really need to start suspecting that there is a staircase involved. And speaking of staircases, Matrick doing a great job taking out that Patra in that spiral staircase room to get his silver arrows. So he will be headed back to kill Ganon as well. So Zogman does have a slight advantage in his coverage of level 9, but it does appear at this point it's becoming more and more likely that a required staircase may be necessary to find Zelda. He has done a lot of exploring in level 9 and has come up empty for the most part. Zogman is running out of keys, though, so that is the one advantage that Matrick has, is Zogman is very low on keys, does pick up a second key, and he is deep in the tank, trying to figure out where he hasn't been yet. We haven't seen anything of the far southwest corner yet. We haven't seen too much of the middle right side of level 9 either. So at this point, if you're Zogman, you have to start thinking that you need to take staircases. So both Matrick and Zogman are in a Zelda search mode, so whoever of them finds Zelda first is going to win this race. And I would not want to be part of the 0-1 bracket at this point. Have you seen some of the names in the 0-1 bracket right now? There are some really scary names in there. Both Matrick and Zogman have about the same level of coverage in level 9, just in different places. So it could come down to something as simple as just taking the right staircase or finding the compass. Matrick finds himself in a troll staircase room.
But can it be possible to find a certain bomb hole that leads outside of Zelda's room as well?
Bomb hole is a possibility, yes. But at this point, it's more likely to be staircase blocked. And Zogman finding his way over to the lower left corner, this is a part of level 9 that I don't believe we've seen yet. And both of them are in about the same area. But at this point, both of the runners have to be feeling just tremendous time pressure, because we're an hour 20 into this race. And all you're looking for is just Zelda, and you have not seen that dot done. So you have to suspect that your opponent is also just looking for Zelda at this point, because the silver arrows were not terribly hard to locate. And these exact kinds of scenarios where it can be very difficult to locate Zelda is one of the big reasons why I prefer larger, more open nines instead of nines that are smaller in terms of room quantity. Just because when you have a lot of voids in the map, such as the level 9 that they're in right now, it can lead to more situations where a staircase can be required to get to Zelda. And Zogman leaving level 9 to get bombs, he is down to his last bomb, so he may actually go outside of level 9 to try to force a bomb drop. Matrick finds a single shutter door, but it doesn't open. Where could Zelda be? She is doing a fantastic job at hiding from both of these runners. And Matrick finds a hint that the kidnapped is in the southwest. That's huge for him, so he knows where to look. And he has pretty good coverage on the southwest, so I'm really starting to think that there may be a staircase involved. So now Matrick has the information to where Zelda is, but again, he has such good coverage in this corner that he'll just need to start taking every staircase that he comes to. He'll do some bombing while he's down here, but I'm really starting to think staircase.
Yeah, same here, because he's basically narrowed it down quite a bit, and you can't get anywhere with the segment he's in.
Zogman, unfortunately, still having a lot of difficulty finding bombs. He's going back into level 5 to respawn all the bomb droppers on the overworld. This is always just terrible when it happens in level 9, and this is one of the big reasons why you never want to use your last bomb, because if you use your last bomb like that, then you can just be at the mercy of the RNG for when a bomb can drop.
And they probably don't know where any bomb shops are, if there are any closed or not. And I don't know if it's the rare shop or not, because I think it is a rare shop, because I haven't really seen them.
So based on the map we've seen, because Matrick did just flash his map on the screen, and based on what we've seen of the southwest corner, we can almost confirm that a staircase is needed. And Matrick finding the any key in level 9 with 11 keys.
And he decides, no, I don't need this.
And these sorts of 9s are why I feel it is important that you take note of where you've been in level 9. That is the only dungeon that I personally map whenever I'm doing Zelda 1 seeds. And it's definitely... Oh, Matrick finds the compass. No, that is the southwest of Skull, but it's closer towards the center of the dungeon, so it's entirely possible that you may just need to take a very convoluted route.
And now he decides to up A and try find a narrow path to Zelda.
Now that he knows that he knows the exact room that Zelda's in, he's probably going to try to bomb all around those rooms. So there's generally going to be two ways to get there, it looks like, because from Zogman's map, we can discern that there are only two possible ways to get there. And Matrick is very close, but he may not be able to get to Zelda's room from that side. No, it's blocked by a side staircase. It looks very much like we have a magical staircase situation. So it is just going to come down to whoever finds the correct staircase.
And both runners giving their high fives as well. So it's really close race right now.
It really just depends on who takes the correct staircase, and both of them have a lot of coverage. So it looks like there may be a sequence of staircases that you need that you would need to get to Zelda. Because look at the coverage that Matrick has. He's got to be frustrated not being able to find the correct staircase. Zogman finding a bomb hole. And Zogman finding Zelda's room, so you did not have to take a staircase. It was just 2 bomb holes needed. What an amazing comeback for Zogman. He was down 4 Triforces and several items at one point, but he does come back to take the win from Matrick. Congratulations to Zogman. What an incredible race this was.
And he finishes the race with an SR time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 46 seconds.
And this does confirm that the seed was completely ladderless. And this, my friends, is why level 9 is the great equalizer. We have seen so many races in this tournament decided entirely by level 9, and we're only 1 round in. We still have 4 more rounds of Swiss action after this.
And Magic is going to Zelda's room right now, and he finishes with an SRL time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, 48 seconds. Only a difference of 1 minute and 2. Really close race.
What an incredibly close race. We all knew that this race was going to be close, but we had no idea how close this was going to be. We're going to see if we can get both of them in here for a late night interview.
And I believe find a bomb hole was a thing to find Zelda as well. If you guys liked what you did see, you should give both of these runners a follow.
Oh,
Both runners did great.
Oh, absolutely. Especially on... It wasn't just that level 9. This entire seed was difficult. Especially some of the dungeons. The dungeons were just incredibly difficult in the seed, especially getting that ladder out of a very challenging level 5, getting that red ring out of that 8 blue Wizrobe room in level 3. I thought that block clip by Matrick to get into there was incredible. And it looks like we do have a Zogman in the booth. And Matrick may be on his way as well. Congratulations on your win, Zogman. That was an incredibly tight race at the end, and what an incredible comeback. Ah, there you are, Zogman. Zogman, can you hear me? It looks like Zogman is having a couple of microphone issues. We'll try to get him in here within the next couple of minutes.
Hello?
There you are, Zogman. Congratulations on your win. That was an absolutely amazing comeback.
Yes. My start was bad. I think I died too much, and I don't expected to win the race.
Well, that's what level 9 can do to you. This race actually came down to level 9, and one of the keys for you for finding a Zelda in level 9 was the map.
Oh, yes. The map was a good help. But I tried to bomb to put bombs on all walls, and I tried maybe 10 times, and the only and it was in the middle of the level, so it's maybe the 10th or the 15th bombs I put, and it was difficult.
Because the only way to Zelda was actually through those 2 bomb holes to the right. And those would have been extremely challenging to find without a map. So overall, talk us through what you did right and what you felt you did right and what you felt you did wrong with your win.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. Yeah. I didn't understand what. Excuse me for my English.
And it looks like, unfortunately, due to a technical issue, Matrick will not be able to join us in the booth. So GG to both of our runners. This will take Zogman to 1-0 and Matrick to 0-1. But don't count any of these 0-1 runners out. All they need is 3 wins to guarantee a spot in that bracket, and 2 wins will get you a spot in that play-in race as well. So that is our last race for tonight here on Speed Gaming, but we do have quite a few matches coming up as well. The most notable one will be over at Randomizer Mania tomorrow at 10 Eastern. We have a match between Lord of the Synth and Zarnax 42. That should be a very exciting race. And most of our matches for this round are complete, so we should be seeing a round 2 pairings and some round 2 action shortly after that. So thank you all for watching. I am Riker Rider, and all of you have a good night.
And I've been Sharky2107, doing it, helping Riker out. And you guys have a good night, and thanks for watching.